One of my best performing clients made 37K this month thanks to this process. Another of my best performing clients made 80K in a couple of months of working together thanks to this process. What is this process? What is the process that gets them to hitting multiple six figures per year? Well, I'm going to be explaining exactly that. This works whether you're, and by the way, go and check my LinkedIn profile if you want to see their testimonials. But nonetheless, this works if you're a consultant, you're a high ticketpreneur, you're a coach, any sort of coach, relationship, leadership, mental, life, high performance, sales, marketing, you get the point. Any sort of coach. As long as you're an online business owner that sells some sort of service online, this works for you. Okay. Now, this is a very macro process. So to go in extreme depth, I'm going to be making separate videos explaining each of these three systems. But first, before I get into that, I need to explain the whole system in general, the whole ecosystem. So the ecosystem, so in order to make 6 to 7 figures per year, is to have a paid inbound system, an inbound system, and an outbound system. As I said before, I'll be making three separate videos explaining 1, 2, and 3. But this is just to make a point out. The first and most important system is your outbound system. This is where most people start because it's the cheapest option, which is fair, and it's a very good option. But the thing is, not many people get results, and some people just create this limiting belief where doing cold emails, Instagram outreach, or whatever doesn't work anymore. Well, that is not the case. And how do you prevent your outreach to not work? Well, you work on finding the correct ICP and outreaching to the correct people. To do that, you basically just reverse engineer the process. You analyze your past clients' characteristics, their age, their sex, their interests, where were they hanging out the most socially, so whether that was on Instagram, on YouTube, on X, whatever, okay? And based on this information, you create, and their problems obviously, you create an IHTO, irresistible high ticket offer, based on this information. So once you do that, you're basically creating an offer tailored for that type of people, for that niche. So another example could be if let's just say you're a relationship coach, okay, or you're an agency owner, or whatever, all right, you're a consultant, and you had B2B clients and B2C clients, all right, you'd probably choose the type of client that the effort was the least, the satisfaction rate was the highest, and the amount of money you were asking was the highest as well. Okay, so based on that, you create an offer based on this sort of information, right? So once you do that, the IHTO, so the irresistible high ticket offer, has to have these things. If it doesn't have this, you're basically just not going to cut through the noise, and your competition is literally going to outcompete you. So you'd have to ask anywhere from 3 to 8K upfront, so for your front end offer, having some sort of bonuses, some sort of freebies added into your offer, integrated, because then the perceived value from the potential client is much higher. And then the other thing, you need to have some sort of guarantee. If you don't have any sort of guarantee, this is guaranteed, you will not be making any sort of money, because no one now trusts anyone. And to get to a point that the prospect knows you, likes you, and trusts you, you need to have some sort of guarantee, right? And the best sort of guarantee is having a risk reversal time guarantee, right? So let's make an example for that. I will help you get to 10K a month in 90 days, time guarantee. If I don't, I'll pay you back, risk reversal. Or I will get you to 15K a month in 90 days, time guarantee. And if I don't, I'll be working for free until I do so. Risk reversal. You get the point. You combine both of them, right? And if you combine both of these guarantees, you basically just created the best offer, right? And this is also relying on a 100 million offer book from Alex Hormozi. Now, once you have that out of the way, you then go and tap into the social media platforms that will help you get your first calls and get your first clients. Now, as I mentioned before, you need to be using mainly the main channel that your ICP is using, right? So that could be Instagram, that could be LinkedIn, that could be X, that could be all three, or two or three, or whatever, right? I definitely consider using all three platforms for the simplest reason, which is you easily cut through the noise, and most of your competition is probably mastering one of these three or two of these three and not all three, which is where you need to kick in. That's where literally you need to go all in on all three, okay, for outreach. Now, let's run through the numbers. There is a very lovely quote I love to mention every time. to my clients that Alex Hormozi states, which is volume negates luck. So the more outreach you do and the more input you put, the higher the output, which does do the case in this scenario. The only thing is we wouldn't outreach till the limit. And I'll explain this in a second. So the week DM limit for Instagram is 350 a week if you send 50 DMs a day for a week, right? Which you are not going to be doing. That's exactly what I wanted to say before, right? You don't want to be sending thousands and thousands of messages and not understanding first the process and not understanding, your ICP, how they reply. So before you scale and go all in, you need to understand how they reply. Otherwise, you're just losing leads. All right. So the way you would do that with Instagram is doing 30 outreaches a day plus interaction. What does this mean? Every account you DM, so every prospect you send a DM, you need to interact with their profile. So like their post, like their story, or comment something on the latest post. This is, as I said, to not sound like a bot, you don't want to be perceived as a bot, but you want to be perceived as a highly skilled coach or highly skilled consultant or highly skilled agency, right? So to know, like, and trust, that's what basically you would do. It's just basically interact with them as well. You do this same process for all three platforms. LinkedIn has 150 a week limit connection requests. You wouldn't be doing more than 20 a day, and interact, as I said, same goes for Instagram. You do the same for LinkedIn and X. You'd interact with their accounts once you send a connection. As for X, you have 10 times the week limit, but still, I wouldn't go crazy either way. So 30 outreaches plus interaction. Now, I will be making a video on how you can structure some, persuasive and eye-catching and attention-catching copy so that you have the highest reply rate, the highest book rate, and the highest close rate, even via chat. Now, I have over 60 templates you guys can be using that have worked for me and booked me thousands of calls throughout the years that you can use and implement in your outbound strategy. But as I said, this will be a video idea for another video, which I will be doing. Now, all of this, as a result, will get you, so 30 outreaches a day on Instagram, 20 LinkedIn connection per day, and 30 on X. As a result, is 80 outreaches a day, okay? And you do this 5 times a week because there's no point in sending any sort of DM on weekends because nobody's going to replying and they're all taking their time off, which is fair, right? So in a week's time, you'd be probably sending 400 outreaches. And if you have a very, very pessimistic book rate, that would be 1 to 3%. That's 4 to 12 calls a week. It could be even less than 1% or 3%. That's still a couple of calls a week as you're starting out, or if you're trying to build some sort of scalability on your business. But put it on a month perspective. That's 1,600 a month with a 1 to 3 book percent rate. That is either 16 or 48 calls, which is outrageous. And let's just say, for the sake of the fact that you are terrible at sales and also the leads are very, very cold, you'd have a 10% close rate. That's 1 to 4 high tier clients. That's 3 to 12K, just like that, in a month, thanks to this process, right? How can you reduce your effort and leverage? This is what I said in the beginning of this video. All of my clients work as little as possible, and their impact on their clients' life is outrageous, and they're making a lot of money. How can you reduce your effort while using these systems? Well, you can use AI or hire VAs. As of AIs, this is where I mainly would recommend tapping into Drippy for X, Phantom Busters for LinkedIn, and either Parser AI or Auto IGDM. I'll be making a separate video for all three, by the way. But the one I'd use for Instagram would be Auto IGDM because AI just finds the leads for you, so you don't have to do any sort of scraping or finding leads. And also, it does the message for you as well based on the account's data. The same exact process Auto IGDM, Phantom Buster does, and GPI does as well. So the messages, the AI writes them based on the account data. And also same goes for Phantom Busters and same goes for Auto IGDM. And scraping, all three do the same. If you want to, invest rather in some sort of setter or VA, you can do, and you can get $3 an hour VAs on Upwork, Fiverr, or Online Jobs PH. But I really wouldn't go this route, sorry, mainly for the sake that AI doesn't have any sort of emotion, and whatever you do, it does. So it executes completely 100%, whilst VAs may have some sort of problems and they come from third world countries, so sometimes they're not as reliable and accountable as an AI would be. So I would definitely go into AI tools. But the best thing with this outbound strategy is that you can duplicate the structure to duplicate the outcome. What do I mean by that? You can have 2 Instagram accounts, 2 LinkedIn accounts, and 2 X accounts. That is 6 accounts on 3 social media channels. That 2X is the outcome. So that would be 2 to 8 high-ticket clients. So that would be 6. Let's just say you sell for 3K AOV, so average order value. That would be either 6 to 24K, which is a lot, all only thanks to this process. Now, moving on to the other system, which is the inbound system. Now, the other thing I wanted to say is having the inbound system and the outbound system together, that just literally will skyrocket your online coaching business. And I'll explain you why in just a second. So the inbound system is nothing other than creating a personal brand. These are the 4 main social media channels that I'd be looking into, mainly because this is where everyone is, hanging out right now online. So what you'd be doing is doing Instagram and YouTube content twice a week, talking about your ICP's problems, frustrations, or solutions for their problems, and then your personal story, your journey, your wins, your losses, your experience in general, right? This to a frequency to twice a week. I wouldn't do more than that. This is just doesn't really do anything if you do more than that. And the format I'd be using is a raw, unedited, pure value-based formats. Now, a couple of years ago, there used to be this trend on YouTube and Instagram where highly saturated, edited videos, whether that's on YouTube or Instagram, would go extremely well. Now, we've basically embarked into a new trend, which is raw, unedited videos, which is even better for you because, I mean, crikey, you wouldn't invest any sort of money into some editors and you wouldn't be spending countless hours onto creating videos because it's just raw, unedited, and pure value-based videos, which is the best. As for LinkedIn X, I would really go all in both of these because they gave me the biggest high-ticket clients. I got a client from LinkedIn that paid me 12K alone. So that is just crazy. That just tells you how how powerful LinkedIn is. Whilst for LinkedIn X, the topics would be the same, and the frequency would be a daily posting kind of scenario, right? And the format you'd be using is basically a selfie slash banner or just providing value through that post. And I have made some pre-built GPTs you can add into your chat GPT that you can use to basically just AI that makes scripts for all 4 platforms. But I will be sharing that in another video. But main point is for LinkedIn, just do like a selfie, smiling, and talking about your ICP problems, frustration, or solutions, or your wins, losses, and experience. For LinkedIn, if you make a more personal type of content rather than more professional type of content, they would end up going even better. So that's some sort of advice I wanted to give you. And same goes for X. And as I said before, you can leverage ChatGPT for both, and I mean for all 4 to write your content. And I can share my GPTs with you if you need so. So do contact me if you need that. All of this just boosts your engagement and gets attention to your funnel, which is what you want. I've tested this out, and I am testing this out as of today. And this has got me. There were days I got like 10 chats from 10 conversations from very warm leads. Some days 2 chats from warm leads. Like it does take some time to get to a 1 to 10 plus inbound lead conversations. It could take up to 2-3 months sometimes, or if you're good enough, it could also take a month. But still, once you dial that in, I mean, that could be easy 2 to 3 clients only coming from your inbound. So that could be 3 to 9K only coming from your inbound system. Now, this is where things get even more interesting because the paid inbound system is the one, it's basically just money multiplier. I mean, once you dial this in, you're basically done forever. But the only issue with that is you need to be investing a bare minimum of 50 USD a day. So this is a process that you'd be adding into your system ecosystem once you have both of these two systems dialed. So let's just say you start today and in 2 months' time, you have both of these systems dialed so that you're about to embark into this system, right? What this is basically just background paid traffic. I do Instagram and Facebook, so Meta. I wouldn't bother with LinkedIn ads or YouTube ads because they're just too expensive. The CPM, so cost per 1,000 impression, is incredibly high, and also no one really watches any sort of ads on YouTube. We all just want to skip. So what's the point, right? And then LinkedIn are overpriced. So I wouldn't even look into LinkedIn ads. I would definitely go into Instagram and Facebook. And the way you do that is doing just retargeting and lookalike ads. What does this mean? By the way, to make these sort of ads, it literally takes you like a second. I mean, Meta does this all for you basically. But main point is these gain the attention back from the people that haven't replied back to you. So let's make an example. These three systems go all well together because let's just say someone has been looking to your content on their feed, and then you send them a message, but they haven't got back at you, or didn't really trust you as much. With this paid inbound system, you're retargeting them. So your ad would go on their feed, so they would see you again, and this would increase the scenario of them knowing you, liking you, and trusting you, which is at the end where most sales happen, building a trust-based relationship, right? So once you do that, all the people that haven't replied on your outreach system will reply back at you or will get back at you in some sort of way. And all the people that have looking into your inbound system, more people will look into your inbound system because you're basically getting more attention into your inbound system. And the inbound system, once you plug that in, increases all of your KPIs. What I mean by that is if your close rate on your outreach is 10%, when you have a very good inbound system and a very good personal brand, your close rate would be even higher because people would know you better, like you better, and trust you better, right? So if you dial all these three, I mean, shit, you can get even you can even create a 10 million, 10 mil plus online coaching business or coaching business in general. Now back to this system, you just basically talk about your offer or your testimonials. If you don't have testimonials, would reconsider tapping into this system if you don't have any sort of testimonials because no one is going to care about you in general. If you really have the money and just want to go straight into the paid on-demand system, you could, but you would have to talk about your offer plus just give out value, which doesn't really give any sort of good results or positive results when doing ads, right? To gain qualified leads, you wouldn't be really doing some sort of like typical lead gen that leads opt-in into an opt-in page and then you'd have their contact info. That doesn't work. I mean, it does work, but the prices, so cost per lead is so high. So for you to acquire your potential client's information, not even a call, their information, it would cost you tens of dollars and tens of thousands to have such a small audience of leads, right? Whilst if you don't ask anything, so you don't ask for them to opt in to give them their contact, you just ask them to follow you or to start a conversation, the CPL decreases. So you're basically acquiring more followers, more leads, and more contact info, right? So once they're into your funnel, so your Instagram page, you basically have gained followers, so people look into your inbound, and then you would outreach them as well, right? So by doing this, you'd be having 1 to 10 plus inbound chats with leads per day. So the results of this could be 1 to 10 inbound warm combos. This is a different scenario than cold outbound because with cold outbound, it's a very cold and salesy approach. So the book rate would be very, very low. Whilst for ads, the chats and the leads are just warmer. So the book rate is even higher. So just make an example, 1 to 10 inbound warm combos a day. That would be in a week, 7 to 70 combos a week. And let's just say you have a 10 to 30% book rate, that is a 1 to 7 warm lead calls per week. In a month, that is 3 to 30 warm calls with leads. Now, that is the best thing you possibly have in a business because people are just willing to buy because they know you, like you, and trust you at that point. So they're just warmer. And then because it's a warmer approach, the close rate would be higher rather than the close rate you'd have on your outbound. As I said, because they've seen you a couple of times on multi-platforms, you've outreached to them, you've sent some value or whatever, so they know you better, like you better, and trust you better. So the close rate would be 30%. That would be 1 to 9 high-ticket clients. So you get the point, right? That would be 3 to 27K only thanks to the paid inbound system, right? Now, the result of all of these three systems, this is where things go even crazier. So if you dial all these three together, this is what you're looking at. 3 to 14 high-ticket clients per month with all three systems in place. That is anywhere from 9 to 42K a month with all these three systems together. And this is exactly what I've been doing for both of my clients. These are two of my best clients, but I have other clients that are doing incredibly well within the code that are coaches and within the space. And that's it. Yeah. So as I said before, I will be making separate videos explaining into more detail the outbound system and explaining into more detail the inbound system and the paid inbound system. So how can you launch your ads? How can you do content? What type of GPTs can you use? I'll lend you my GPTs that I've been putting countless hours and effort in, and my team has, so that you can just have scripts on the go. And then create a set and forget outbound system that just runs automatically. You don't have to do anything. You just go open up your calendar and just see the calls coming in, right? That's it for this video. And if you need any sort of help with acquiring new clients or reducing the amount of effort on your end, or just increasing the satisfaction, or all three, even best, give me a shout. I mean, I can implement this sort of system and get you to 40K a month, or 100K months in a couple of months of working together. Okay, so yeah, I'll be continuing to posting on YouTube now every now and again, so you can see how you can actually benefit from all of these systems.